than Joe Harris, right? But this is the thing you don't understand, and this is where uh basketball people have to come to a realization when they're looking at a very bad player or a player that just doesn't have a role in your system. Joe Harris going to the basket is really good, and Joe Harris had a horrible game. Don't get me wrong, but he did
Yep.
to um all the little things to kind of create energy, be a decoy. He didn't hurt the Nets, even though he didn't have a good game. Um, Rebounds, assists, steals, right? Stuff that if you're coming off the bench and you're getting, he only got 12 minutes. But still, you're coming off the bench. You're being given playing time. That's a pretty good second unit. Prince got 0 points. I mean, zero rebounds, zero assists, zero steals, one block. That's unacceptable when you're not good. When when if you can't make a layup, and he blew two layups tonight, and one of them I don't think they called it a shot. But if you can't go to the basket and score, and you're 6'7", 6'8", you're not a good basketball player, man. And I was so happy to see again Nash impressed the crap out of me today.
Yep.
He was looking for something from the small forward position. He tried to get it from Shamit. He tried to get it from Prince. He didn't. So he limited how much bench minutes. The bench guys had 18, 19 minutes against Golden State, and they should. Against Boston, he didn't play that game. He didn't stick to his quote-unquote rotations. And that was something that Atkinson would do and frustrate the crap out of us, because we've got these other players that are really good. Why would you continue some kind of written down, pre-subscribed, no feel of the game? Just this is how these are going to be the minutes, and he would just play these guys who are horrible for extended times, and Nash didn't play that game. He took him off. Shamit had a hard time. He's like, all right, let me see if I put Joe Harris isn't lightening up the world tonight, so let me see if Shamit runs with the first team, if I could get something out of him. He did that in the fourth quarter. Shamit was an okay decoy, but if he keeps shooting like this, people are going to start letting him shoot and just hedging more on KD and Kyrie. But you can't be mad at kind of how Nash managed minutes, and we were just overwhelming.
Yeah. No, I think he's done. I think the only thing, I think the elephant in the room, which isn't even the elephant in the room, because we've talked about it, and every Nets fan on Twitter has talked about it as well, is the Dinwiddie situation, which I don't know exactly what the right move is, because I think LeVert is so good even on his own in the second unit,
Yeah.
that I don't know if the move is to take out Dinwiddie earlier with the first unit, so that he could then get the end minutes with the second unit that then creep back when the first guys come back in. Maybe it's something like that, but I mean, the Dinwiddie fit, I think the Dinwiddie fit, I've repeated this now in the last couple of podcasts. I think you feel similarly. It's the type of thing where you he's going to have his moments in big games. It's just he's the piece that's had the hardest time to figure out where he belongs.
Right, and again, it's it's that those two words, sacrifice and willingness.
Yep.
He's willing. He's playing hard out there. He's having a tough time, but he's doing his job. Do I want him to do better than 6-4? Is it 6-4, 8-4? Get 2 assists, 2 steals. Yes. The stats don't say much about what he was doing out there, but he's not going to get a lot of opportunities. He has to get in where he fits in. He will. I promise you, he will. Otherwise, we might be seeing a trade. because it's a little bit of a square peg in a round hole. And we kind of forecasted that. We kind of saw that coming, but yeah, we beat the second best team in the Eastern Conference by last year at least, or second or third best team in the Eastern Conference by 25, and we ran away from them. And then we hit the reset button and put in our third string for the last 4 minutes. They waved the white flag pretty early, and that's punishing. So, Dinwiddie's a volume shooter, volume scorer. He's downhill, but he's playing a position now where he has to protect Kyrie. And maybe what we need is more of a set shot type of guy. I think his shot is good enough to become a set shot guy. He just needs the time to acclimate in his role and just use that big brain of his. That's the other reason why I'm confident Dinwiddie will pull it together, because he's just so smart.
Yep.
And I don't know. There's a big part of me that says Karras should just start, and this time should be spent on Karras figuring out how to get his with Kevin and Kyrie. But I trust these guys, man. Like you know me, I'm usually super opinionated, super mad about something, but I think there's something that they're trying to reach, and there's a strategy that they're trying to execute, and I'm not necessarily ready to just say, yo, it's not working, it's wrong. The sample size is too small, and I think they're trying to achieve something that has a game plan. And of course, Nash is a former point guard. He loves former point guards. He probably loved playing in the 2-guard system, especially under D'Antoni before and after. Gentry used to run it too. But man, I just feel so much trust and comfort with this organization right now, and I also feel like if they have to make a change, they can and they will, and they have a genius who's running this team, that if there is an adjustment that needs to be made, it can. And I don't think Dinwiddie's lost any value. I think there's at least 10 NBA teams that would like him to be there. That he's a better starting point guard for. And if he has to move on, he has to move on. It might be good for both teams. But what the best thing that could happen is he used that big analytical brain and figures it out. Also, there's going to be load management. They're going to be nice that it's just Kyrie. It's just Karras and Dinwiddie. They're going to play heavy minutes, and those guys are going to get rest. So we've got to let this whole thing play out. Give it 15 games. In 15 games, we'll do a podcast special to just kind of really see where everybody lands.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing that you talked about trust in the organization, which I think we all have to have right now. Only thing I want to mention, because I know you mentioned it, you gave your piece earlier, and we're totally aligned on this issue. But I just saw he didn't tweet it, but I know Woj was on ESPN sometime today and talked about that the Rockets had recently had conversations with both the Celtics and the Nets about Harden, and if Marks is still in. If it's now not just coming from the Rocket and Harden side, and the Nets are actually engaged anything like that, which I'm just praying is not the case, because I think it would be a cataclysmic disaster. So I just needed to air that out, and I again want to feed to the Twitter wolves, all the Nets fans that have been asking for the Harden trade and are still asking for the Harden trade, even now. But I'm happy that Harden keeps on expanding the list of teams that he's interested in, because hopefully that means that this Nets thing isn't going anywhere. But
there's a better chance that I get traded to the Nets than James Harden, and I'm going to tell you why.
I would
I'm
be by that. Like, I can't. I just can't have Harden on this. I can't have Harden on this team,
I
especially with the way these guys are playing.
look
I would
the
sacrifice myself to go to Houston at this point.
let me tell you something. In order for Hugh, like, it's not. If people think, oh, you're saying that Woj is lying, I'm not saying that Woj is lying. I'm saying that Woj is talking to Houston, and Houston is saying, yeah, these guys are still in it. They have to. They have to say that. And it's because if there's no other dangerous team to scare the other teams, right? Then how do they get them to ante up? James Harden has no value right now. I mean, not zero value, but his value is very depressed. And who's the most, like, people might think James Harden is the most desperate. He caused his team to have a canceled game. And he only got fined $50,000 or 70. In total, he's only been fined $75,000 for these shenanigans, and that's nothing. He gave a rapper who he met only a year or two ago $200,000 in a $25,000 bag.
Yeah.
That money doesn't mean shit to James Harden, and there's nothing the NBA could really do except void his contract. And then that's kind of like him getting what he wants anyway, because even if they were allowing him to leave, he's going to get paid by somebody else.
Yep.
So Houston has to, people from Houston's front office have to tell Wojnarowski those things, and he's going to have to repeat them because that's a good source. If a junior executive from Houston contacts Woj and says, yeah, this thing is looking like we're going to be able to get him out of here. We're talking to these two teams. And then he goes out and says that makes Philly go, wait a second. If it's Jason Tatum and James Harden, we're going to have a problem. We need to ante up what we might have to give up Ben Simmons. So don't get scared because especially after you saw how Jarrett Allen played today, and especially how DeAndre Jordan looked like he's been holding a fart since COVID started. Those two things should scare the shit out of the Nets for doing this thing, because you get James Harden, you're getting James Harden, and that's it. And you're gonna have to gut your team. The thing that made you win tonight, you lose it. You lose it. James Harden isn't coming off the bench like Karis LeVert would. James Harden isn't playing second to Kyrie in the starting lineup. So, and I don't think we're the only people that can see that. I think everybody can see it. If the Nets were to take James Harden, he better come with a first round pick. He better come with a first round pick, because there's no way that they're signing up to have Joe Tsai pay the luxury tax on $44 million and $47 million in the last 2 years, and you don't know who this guy is, and he's at every other strip club every other night. There's no way. So I'm gonna lay my head on my pillow tonight and dream about championships and parades down Flatbush Avenue. I'm not worried about James Harden, not even a little bit.
The other issue not related to today's game that I also had to speak on, because I've gotten caught in it and I shouldn't, but I did, is the whole comparing how much attention the Nets get versus the Knicks and all that stuff with New York. And I've seen, so me and Los got into a thing on Twitter with Alan Hahn, because Alan Hahn said after the Nets Warriors game, he's like, the only thing we learned was that the Warriors basically suck, and we didn't learn anything about the Nets. And so I took issue with that. So I wasn't listening to my own advice. But only thing I will say to Nets fans is that this whole who owns the city thing, just let it happen. Just like let it play out. It'll be what it'll be. There are way more Knicks fans in 30 years. There may still be more Knicks fans. I don't know. But all I know is the team is playing well, and there will be, if and when they win